WBBM-TV, Chicago. Now, Bill Curtis, Linda McLennan, Steve Baskerville with AccuWeather, Corey McFerrin on sports, and the Channel 2 News team. This is Channel 2 News.
Good evening. Bill has the night off and Lester Holt is sitting in. The unmistakable wail of an ambulance siren. If you hear it, it usually means a life is in jeopardy. And if you're a driver and you hear it, it means get out of the way. But that didn't happen. A speeding car smashes into an ambulance that's rushing a little boy to the hospital. And now tonight, he is not the only one whose life is in jeopardy. This is what rescue teams found when they arrived on the scene this afternoon. Injured people lying in the streets, some of them paramedics, who tonight are the patients. Channel 2's John Duncanson is live at Cook County Hospital with the latest on the victims and the driver who is now accused of causing that crash. John?
Linda, it was a double tragedy today for a 2-year-old boy and his mother. They remain hospitalized here at Cook County Hospital. They were being transported this afternoon after the little boy had fallen out of a 3-story window. Tonight, that little boy remains clinging to his life. He is in critical condition. He had to be helped out the front doors of Cook County Hospital tonight. Jimmy Jackson, driver of the car that hit the ambulance, still looked to be in bad shape when we caught up with him. He told us what he remembered of the accident.
It just seemed like the ambulance came out of nowhere. It didn't have on no siren. I don't recall no siren or nothing. It just hit me.
The crash of steel left bodies strewn across an intersection, including 6 inside an ambulance, transporting a 2-year-old boy already lying in critical condition. The ambulance had been traveling south on Wood Street, its lights and sirens blaring. It slowed to make a left turn east on Madison. At that point, Jimmy Jackson's Ford moved east on Madison at a high rate of speed. The car swerved to pass a bus. It hit the ambulance.
It was the car's fault. The car tried to beat the ambulance, and it just smashed against the ambulance.
The car was demolished. For the 2-year-old boy and his mother inside the ambulance, it was the second disaster in less than an hour. 2-year-old John Hernandez was in his family's apartment this afternoon. When he spotted some cookies, he reached for them, lost his balance, and fell out a 3rd-story window. Neighbors showed us the hole in the screen high above. The boy fell to the concrete, suffering a severe head injury. He'd stopped breathing. This woman was in her kitchen when he fell.
When I drink coffee, I see something in the window. When I thinking, I don't know what happened. I see it in the window, and when I see the boy, I scared.
Just a short time later, tragedy number 2 struck at Madison and Wood.
Anytime a baby is hurt, you have concern for him, especially in a car wreck that was that catastrophic.
That, of course, the driver of the car, Jimmy Jackson. He is being cited in the accident for failure to yield to an emergency vehicle. Of the 9 people hospitalized today, 1 remains in fair condition at Northwestern, 2 people in fair condition at Rush Press St. Luke's, and the mother of the boy has been upgraded from serious condition to fair condition, and of course, that little boy, the 2-year-old, remains in very critical condition here at Cook County Hospital. We are live at Cook County Hospital. I'm John Duncanson, Channel 2 News.
Okay, John. Police say they were looking for a victim. They picked the wrong man, and tonight police in Forest Park say they're very close to finding the muggers of a 71-year-old man who was shot when he fought back. Wally Gloss is recovering from the shooting. He's still in critical condition. Channel 2's Larry Mente is live with the latest on the search for the suspects. Larry?
Lester, Forest Park police are reporting a big break in the Wally Gloss case. The entire investigative unit is out on the streets right now after receiving a tip from street informants, and we are told an arrest will be announced shortly. In the meantime, the bravest 71-year-old man in Forest Park, the man who smacked back 2 muggers with his bare hands, is still in critical condition at Loyola Medical Center. Wally Gloss has captured the hearts of America. Thousands of letters from across the country have arrived at Loyola Medical Center to the 71-year-old man who refused to be afraid. But tonight, he is in no condition to read them.
The doctor reported that his vital signs are good. He's recovering nicely. Still in critical condition, though. They're watching him very closely. But I don't think he realizes what has happened just yet.
It was on Monday in broad daylight that Wally Gloss was shot in the stomach at the intersection of Lamer and Circle in Forest Park. 2 muggers pulled guns and demanded his Social Security money. Instead, Wally gave them the back of his hand. When they ran, Wally chased them down the street. It was during the chase that he was shot in the stomach. Tonight, Forest Park police believe they will soon have the two young men responsible in custody.
If I can meet these guys, I don't know what I'd do to them, because if anything did happen to my grandfather, I think the same thing should happen to them. I would want to spit in their face.
Again, the news tonight from Forest Park, a big break in the Wally Gloss case. They are expecting to make arrests shortly. We're standing by at the back door of the Forest Park Police Department where they bring in suspects. If they bring in anybody with connection with the Wally Gloss case, we'll be standing by and we will report to you live. Reporting live from Forest Park, Larry Menti, Channel 2 News.
Larry, thanks. For the last 2 nights, we've been telling you about a little 7-year-old girl, her life also shattered by a bullet. Kiana Frazier is recovering from a gunshot wound to her leg. She was shot by a stray bullet while playing in front of her home. Now, police have arrested 2 teenagers for the shooting. Tonight, her father says he is relieved.
Now that they've been captured and they have been charged, okay, put them away for a long time. Let them be the example. Let them show the rest of the drug dealers and gangbangers that this is one of those communities that's fed up.
Police are still looking for a 3rd suspect who may have also been involved in the shooting.
Tonight, a scare in the air for 85 people on board a Delta Airlines jet. It dropped 8,000 feet because of turbulence over North Carolina. The plane landed safely tonight at Kennedy Airport in New York, but not before at least 4 passengers suffered cuts and bruises. Everyone admits to being scared.
There was a lot of screaming and shouting, and everybody was up in the ceiling who wasn't strapped in. And, you can't do anything, so you just sit there and hang out.
A doctor who was on board treated the injured passengers until the plane landed in New York. Most of the people on board had just put on their seatbelts because the pilot had warned of turbulence ahead. Linda?
A different kind of scare today at the giant Hartsfield International Airport in Atlanta, and it grounded thousands of passengers there for several hours. Fire trucks raced to the airport after a worker was overcome by fumes in the terminal. Firefighters feared the fumes may have come from a natural gas leak, and the airport was shut down. Passengers were forced to evacuate the terminals, and that created a traffic nightmare as people were stalled in their cars with no place to go. The fumes were finally traced to a malfunctioning elevator, and the airport was finally reopened. A crowded freeway and a tanker filled with gasoline proved to be a lethal combination in Cincinnati. The tanker veered off the freeway and exploded into flames. It happened right on the edge of downtown Cincinnati when the truck driver drove off a bridge and then hit another car. Tonight, both drivers are listed in fair condition. Police are now trying to learn the cause of the accident.
President Bush tonight is offering some faint praise for his potential challenger, Ross Perot. The president says he understands the appeal of the outsider. But in a wide-ranging news conference tonight, Mr. Bush predicted the voters' honeymoon with Perot will end soon. He says it'll be over once the media starts asking Perot for specifics on the issues.
Let them decide. Let them sort out this. And I can understand that appeal. I'm from outside. I'll solve all the problems. And someday you guys are going to start. How are you going to do it? How are you going to get this through the Congress?
Bush is also promising to debate the other candidates in the fall. He is again calling on Congress to pass a balanced budget amendment. And on the environment, he's defending his opposition to a global warming treaty, saying it would cost American jobs. The major TV networks chose not to carry his news conference live, apparently viewing it as a political stunt.
Coming up next, Anatomy of a Murder.
A millionaire executive walks out of court accused of murdering his ex-wife in Kenilworth. Tonight, police reveal how they cracked the case. Also, innocent schoolgirl or teenage prostitute. Tonight, a young girl charged with murdering her lover's wife makes a plea in court. Then later, the Bulls are cruising, and our cameras are on board as Scottie Pippen shows Horace Grant his newest toy. They call it a crime of passion. Tonight, a rich retiree from Kenilworth is free on $1 million bond charged with murdering his ex-wife. And investigators are revealing the keys to the case, a messy divorce, and a vintage murder weapon. Channel 2's Jim Avila has more.
Freedom can be expensive when you're charged with wife murder. It cost Kenilworth insurance man J. Nathaniel Davis $100,000 cash. But he raised it in 4 hours and walked out of the Skokie courthouse accused but denying the murder of his ex-wife, Diane.
I am very surprised. No kidding. He's innocent, so he'll be proven innocent, too.
There obviously are no witnesses and really no evidence
that place Mr. James Nathaniel Davis Jr. At the scene of this crime at the time of the crime.
J. Nathaniel Davis seemed unfazed by the charge and the dramatic story told by prosecutors in court. Hoping to keep him in jail without bond, state's attorneys revealed crucial evidence against Davis. They say the murder night went like this. He left his Northbrook townhome after 10 o'clock, drove to his ex-wife's Kenilworth home, shot her 7 times, and then stopped by the Skokie Lagoon, where divers later found the murder weapon. The first big break in the case came here at the Skokie Lagoons last October when divers found what they thought was the murder weapon. But they had to wait until the snow melted in the Colorado Rockies this spring before they could find some bullets to match up with that gun. They went to a hunting lodge on the western slope of the Rockies where Mr. Davis had gone hunting. They found there some spent shells that they say matched the gun and also the bullets that were found in Mrs. Davis's body. 2 weeks ago, Kenilworth detectives flew to the Colorado Rockies and searched the forest for matching bullets. They were tested and matched those recovered from the body of Diane Davis.
They have a gun that he once owned, apparently. That's what they say they can prove. Well, we'll see.
Davis, who moved to Florida after the murder, has been ordered to stay in Illinois until the trial begins sometime this summer. Jim Avila, Channel 2 News.
Under terms of the bond order, Davis was forced to surrender his passport.
Tonight, a plea to be set free from a 17-year-old girl from New York who is accused of attempted murder in a steamy love triangle. Prosecutors say high school senior Amy Fisher is not your typical suburban teen. They say she worked as an escort service as a professional prostitute and had fallen in love with 38-year-old Joseph Badafuco, the owner of an auto repair shop. Last month, say police, Fisher shot Badafuco's wife, Mary Jo, in the face. Today at a bail hearing, Fisher's lawyer painted her as a scared girl who just wants to go home. They said her bond should be reduced, but prosecutors argued that the so-called Long Island Lolita is a bad risk who knows very well how to support herself. Tonight, the court is agreeing with prosecutors. Her bail remains at $2 million.
It is quiet and cold, but it may be the best weapon yet in the war to throw street gangs out of the classroom in Chicago public schools. Tonight, Mayor Daley wants to put metal detectors in every high school in the city. The mayor is offering to install the detectors in any high school that wants them. Each high school will be offered 2 detectors, and each one will cost $3,000. A project that could cost $450,000. Police believe the detectors can sharply reduce the number of guns and knives being smuggled into classrooms.
If your allergies have suddenly kicked in, Steve Baskerville knows why. He's up next with the AccuWeather forecast.
I could use the answer. Then our Channel 2 News Extra. Meet Noreen and Calvin Walker. Tonight our cameras are there as Noreen saves her husband's life. She's giving him one of her kidneys.
I feel sure that it's going to take, and it'll be better. He'll be feeling a lot better this time next year.
The life-saving operation in our Channel 2 News Extra still ahead. On this day, a half a century ago, on a tiny island in the Pacific, the tide of World War II turned. It was the Battle of Midway Island. The Japanese shot down 150 airplanes before the last squadron of American bombers sank 3 Japanese aircraft carriers in 5 minutes, forever changing the course of the war in the Pacific. Today at Midway Airport, named for the victory, Mayor Daley joined others to unveil a replica of an 8-foot statue that will soon stand in the airport's main concourse. It shows a solitary Navy aviator holding high an American flag.
Steve Baskerville joined us now. I got this little itch in my throat. You've had one for a few days. Dr. Baskerville, what's wrong?
I feel like that commercial, attention allergy sufferers. But I do have some answers for you. If your throat is scratchy or you feel irritated, there's a board of certified allergists from Greater Chicago who says that mold spores are the culprits. Now, here's what's happening. Yesterday, the mold spore count was 282, which is in the moderate range. But today, they skyrocketed to 1,106, which is very high. And they say that it's because of how humid it is outside and all the moisture. 2 things you can do. One is to get a dehumidifier, and the other is to reduce the number of houseplants because mold spores grow in dirt. I did not know that, but that's something that you might want to keep in mind, at least tonight and tomorrow morning. The other problem we have is that you can't see a thing, almost, outside. Look at this. This is what we found this evening. If it's not one thing, it's the other. The visibility was reduced to a mile and in some cases less than that. So walking, driving a car, riding a bike, at times almost impossible. Take a look at the numbers outside and you'll see what people are driving through. 60 to 65 degrees are the temperatures up in Glenview. That's the cool spot now, but not that much different from weather along the lakefront and elsewhere. The winds are off the lake at 5. Told you about the humidity already. The barometer is steady. The other parts of the weather day is that we did reach 72 degrees at one point in mid-afternoon. The sun will rise at 5:17, but AccuWeather says that there may not be a lot of sun to see at that hour. How much rain did we get out of all of this talk about moisture? 0.03 of an inch officially, but some folks did better than that. Romeoville, about 1.5 inches of rain. That's real good news for Will County since it's been so bad in terms of dry weather. Rockford to Moline to Milwaukee to Kankakee, the rain is scattered about. Not any heavy thunderstorms in there. There could be a rumble or two of thunder overnight tonight, but not a big deal. Charlotte, North Carolina had just about all the rain that we expect in the entire month of June today. 3.5 inches of rain, but from Roanoke to Daytona, it was a mess today. That has nothing to do with our weather. A front comes through. It will clear the air around here by mid-afternoon tomorrow with sunshine. Now, in terms of how long that's going to last, there could be some hit-and-miss thunderstorms, but that won't be here until late in the day on Saturday. At least most of the weekend looks pretty decent. Tomorrow morning, will you be able to see a thing? Well, it's going to be soggy and foggy. Sounds like a new group that's moved into Chicago. But we want that group out of here by mid-afternoon. Partly sunny skies out west in Westchester. Up in the southern suburbs, the fog in the early morning hours, a reminder. Then sunshine and warmer weather in Chicago Heights and Olympia Fields. Up north in Long Grove, the same story, but at least mild weather settling in. Let's roll out the numbers from Friday through Tuesday. We thought it would be cooler over the weekend, but it's going to be halfway decent. We could use a thunder shower or two, too, over the weekend. That'll be Saturday.
So soggy and foggy are going to leave.
They're gone by
Good.
midday.
Thanks, Steve. Coming up next, a woman's gift to her husband, a gift that could save his life.
Tonight, Calvin Walker receives a kidney from his wife. Our cameras are there for an extraordinary look at the life-saving transplant operation as it happened. Our Channel 2 News Extra is next.
If you're traveling out of town, call for specific weather conditions around the country. Call 1-900-680-4CAST. The call costs 95 cents per minute.
Tonight in News Extra, the true meaning of life and love. What would you do if saving someone's life meant giving up part of your own body? Would you do it? For a Chicago woman, there wasn't any question. Her husband needed a new kidney. Spouses aren't usually compatible donors, but Noreen Walker was, and today we were there for this unusual transplant.
I had a good spirit this morning. Everybody said, "Oh, you don't seem like you're worried." I said, "Well, we're not going to sit around and wring our hands. I'm sure everything's going to come out good."
Noreen Walker is determined to spend many more happy years with her husband, Calvin. He's a manager with the post office. She's a Chicago police sergeant. Calvin looks perfectly healthy, but he's not. Both his kidneys are failing fast.
When I found out that I could donate right then, it was just like, well, hell, we don't have a problem now, because we have a kidney. It's a husband and wife. 12, 14, 16, 18.
I want you to take some slow, deep breaths.
First step, one of Noreen's kidneys has to come out.
We're going to take the right kidney. Our incision follows the rib cage right over the 12th rib, and we remove about 3 inches of that rib.
The surgery team works fast. In just 45 minutes, one of Noreen's kidneys is removed and plunged into an ice-cold saline solution. It's wrapped in a bag, put in a jar, and then stored on ice in an igloo cooler, just like the one you'd use to chill a six-pack. Generally, how is it going? How has it gone?
Very well. No problems so far.
No surprises?
No surprises.
Now it's Mr. Walker's turn.
I was most concerned about my wife, and the doctor says she's doing fine, and I'm ready to go.
And so is the surgery team. They won't be removing Calvin's diseased kidneys. They'll just put Noreen's healthy kidney in.
Normal kidneys would be like that. We'll make an incision that will go about like that, and we'll put the new kidney right there. And it's just like that.
Right. The kidney comes out of the cooler, is dunked in a bath, and then tied up in a gauze bag. There's some delicate stitching to get it connected in all the right places. If you get queasy, turn away now. But what you're about to see is the high point of every kidney transplant. The moment when the kidney turns from a tan color to purple and then to pink. To a doctor, it's beautiful proof that the kidney is up and working in its new home. About an hour later, Calvin is headed for the recovery room. Already, he's been given a dose of drugs to keep his body from rejecting the new kidney.
He has better than a 50-50 chance of not having any rejection attempt at all.
I'm willing to go whichever way the good Lord wants it to go, but I think that I'm very fortunate to have a wife that would be willing to make that sacrifice for me.
Calvin and Noreen Walker are resting comfortably tonight at Northwestern Memorial Hospital. Tomorrow night at 10, we'll hear from both of them and find out a little bit more about what happens next.
They make it look so routine,
Don't they? Well, it is, in effect, fairly routine. At this stage, what's not routine is that a spouse is able to donate and is compatible with the other spouse.
Must be a great feeling to be able to give like that.
Yeah.
Sports is next. We'll take you on a tour of Scottie Pippen's new cabin cruiser.
And we'll show you what happy penguins like to do when it's raining, all after a break.
Corey, any truth to the rumor the Blazers are going to triple team Michael tomorrow night?
Quadruple, I think that's the latest rumor as far as I know. Everybody's still talking about Lethal Weapon 4, Michael Jordan's record-setting long-distance gunnery. So what does Michael do the day after? Well, somewhere inside this crowd, that earring right there, MJ buried answering a million questions like a repeat performance tomorrow night, Mike?
No, I'm going to do the same thing as I did in game one, is just go out and let the game come to me. And whatever game happens, whatever game I play, you know, that's going to take the precedence for that day.
And maybe Michael's long ball success rubbing off. Assistant coach Tex Winter, two-hander out of the blue, got it down. Attaboy, Tex. Keep it up, baby. Today's workout not enough for Cliff Levingston. He found a second job, subbing for Tom Joyner at GCI-FM.
107.5 GCI.
Hi, is this Cliff?
This is Cliff.
Hi, Cliff. I can barely hear you.
You can barely hear me.
Yeah, speak up. Get me off the speaker.
Get you off the speaker.
Yeah, put the telephone up.
Well, I'm trying to. I don't know how to work this phone over here, but go ahead.
Give Cliff a couple more tries. He'll figure it out. Got a good voice, though, doesn't he? Excellent. Outside of Cliff, most of the Bulls relaxed after practice today, including skipper Scottie Pippen and first mate Horace Grant. It seems an unlikely location to find Scottie Pippen and his inseparable pal, Horace Grant, but it's really not. You see, Scottie has become a yachtsman, and this is his newest toy, a 38-foot cabin cruiser. Bodacious, it's called, Bulls colors and all.
You know, a lot of people like to go out and play golf, I guess, to relax, and it's more or less relaxing to me.
Yeah, we got miles, Too foggy for a lake outing today, but we see it all, from the sound system to the twin 454 horsepower engine. What was the motivation initially for you to get a boat like this? What made you go out and get one?
Well, I kind of felt like I wanted to be alone a little bit, and I think going out on the water, you don't have to worry about anyone bothering you. No phone ringing, nobody calling you, nobody stopping by unless they can swim a mile.
All right. Oh, and when you go down below, there's hardly a creature comfort you won't find.
You look at the big bed right there, you look out, so much room out there. You got a great television here, you got a great stereo.
You got a kitchen.
A kitchen, you got bologna right there.
I mean, what more than bologna and Miracle Whip? What else do you need?
Hey, we got bread. Hey, this is like a home down here.
This is living, baby.
The only way to live.
Scotty and Horace out in the lake going 55. Kind of a scary thought, huh? Baseball tonight. Sox and Cubs both off. Sox host Oakland tomorrow. The Cubs are in Montreal. Scoreboard, a couple of them for you tonight. You got Minnesota leading Texas. Detroit beats the Yankees. Seattle big on Cleveland. Pittsburgh leads the Mets. We go to Pittsburgh now, as a matter of fact. Near capacity crowd to see the Pirates, right? Maybe the Steelers? No. The Penguins. And Brian Trottier showing us the Stanley Cup slide. It's a wonder that thing's lasted 100 years, huh? Brian Trottier, one more time. All right, here he goes. And he is safe at second base. We go to tennis. Women's semifinals. French Open. Steffi Graf over Arantxa Sanchez Vicario, and Monica Seles in the park court outgrunts Gabriela Sabatini. A little rough on the vocal cords. Monica and Steffi in the finals. And if it's about the vocal cords, Monica wins by a landslide.
That's our news for tonight. I'm Lester Holt.
And I'm Linda McLennan. Thanks for making us your choice for News at 10. For all of us, good night.